Wack100 crashed out on J Prince and the whole Prince family after rumors that they got raided and arrested by the feds. To find out what happened, watch this whole video and subscribe to the channel. A lot of people think that J Prince and J Prince Jr. got raided for what happened to Takeoff and that whole situation with the Migos and basically people getting locked up, people getting dropped after that. They think that the guy that got caught, the Patrick guy that got caught for basically hitting up Takeoff, that dude might have told on the Prince family, starting with J Prince Jr., because that's the guy that basically he was the closest to out of the whole Prince family. He was really hanging out with the sons the most. And so this is why a lot of people were like, okay, that was unsettled things. It was still an ongoing investigation with what happened to Takeoff. And they was trying to get to the bottom of that whole dice game and how they had the wrong people, the wrong time, and everybody had an attitude, and basically something was going to spark off anyways. And this is what led to them bringing the heat onto J Prince and J Prince Jr. A lot of people was blaming them just to begin with, because everybody really likes Takeoff. Everybody rocks with Takeoff. And when they heard that it was basically Quavo and J Prince Jr.'s fault and them throwing that party and inviting everybody, inviting the whole hood to come and play this dice game, and it got out of hand because they got mad at each other, and one of the dudes from J Prince Jr. crew got into it with Quavo, and this is when everything spilled outside. And this is why they're looking into the Prince family now, because they're trying to figure out like everything. If they raided them, they're looking for any type of evidence that could connect them to Takeoff. They're looking for phones, computers, or anything like that, because at the end of the day, you got to realize that Takeoff, Quavo, the whole Migos had a whole deal with J Prince and the family. So this is why they always hung out together. And the fact that they were using J Prince Jr.'s security to move around, and it was a dude from the security, so-called, allegedly, that had the whole altercation where he pulled out the strap on Quavo and Takeoff got caught in the middle of it. Well, people gotta, like, people have to face their consequences from that, because at the end of the day, they knew it was not Takeoff's fault for being caught up in that situation. Takeoff didn't even play in the dice game. He laid low, sat in the back, and J Prince Jr. and all of them, they're the ones that was trying to play the most. You got to remember, right before Takeoff got hit up, it was another dice game with J Prince Jr. with the same people that basically, that's what got Duke the Jeweler hit up. And it's the same usual suspects. You can't tell me that two dice games happened with J Prince Jr. and his crew leading it, playing it, hosting the party, and the both times somebody gets hit up, somebody gets taken out from this because of somebody being mad at each other, or there was a lot of money on the line. The first time it was with Boosie. Boosie had owed them $1 million from this dice game. They said that they was hitting, like, the guys that Boosie was playing against, they must have had some trick dice or something. This was before Hustle Cartel even came out with the towel roll technique. So they was hitting them with 7s, 11s, 7s, 11s. They had some dude or some type of dice that they knew they was going to be able to trick them into. So this is how they got Boosie to owe them $1 million. And guess what? The only person that had something like that was Duke the Jeweler, and Boosie had 48 hours to pay up, or else he was not able to leave Houston. And so fast forward, then it comes to where Quavo and the dude is arguing about what just happened in the dice game. They try to pull a fast one, just like how they did on Boosie. So they pulled a move, and Quavo's like, nah, this ain't happening, da. And they all was like, okay, we could take it outside, then we could take it outside. The party was inside that one suite. It was like a bowling alley, right? So they get into this argument and they go outside, and J Prince Jr.'s whole security and whole crew is right there. Like, as a matter of fact, J Prince Jr. is on film wearing his hat. He had the hat on with the chain. Whenever you see J Prince Jr., he always has on the hat. He always has the hat and the big J chain. So you could see how they started arguing, and the dude pulls out the strap and he unloads, and literally Takeoff was right there standing in front of the guy in between him and Quavo, and it was the dude tried to sneak Takeoff. Like, they knew they was about to try to set up Quavo and Takeoff outside, even though Takeoff wasn't a part of it. This is why allegedly that they might be looking at J Prince and the J Prince Jr., the sons and the whole entire crew, because of what happened that night and what happened with the Duke the Jeweler situation. Y'all got to remember, man, it's a lot of people who have to go in and check in Houston, and things still happen. How is it that these rappers came and checked in, but then they get into an altercation, an argument, or some problem happens with the people that they went in to check in with? There's no point in checking in if they're going to be, if the people you got to check into is the ones who's going to try to extort you for more money or have you pay for the $20,000 for the security. And a lot of people, they don't want to have to pay for extra security when they came down there with their own people, and they basically got to pay 50 bands to J Prince Jr. to have his crew look after them, when at the end of the day, allegedly it was people from his crew that they think that was the ones setting people up at the, and so this is why everybody is basically looking at the situation like, man, if they really got raided and if the feds got them, then it's about to go down, because so much happened around J Prince Jr. and the family. You got to remember back to the Finesse 2-time situation, the Lil Boosie and Duke the Jeweler situation, and the Takeoff situation. So that's 3 different things that they could get them for. And everybody knows that with all the power, the money, the pull that they got, they've been being able to not be touched for a long time. Even J Prince walked outside in his projects, in his old hood, showing that he got Rolls Royces in the garage and that he can't be touched when he's walking. So he walked on live by himself through the hood in Houston, through this particular hood, and he was dapping up everybody. Nobody would do nothing. So he was trying to show that they were untouchable and everything like that. But at the same time, people still think that the feds might be watching them, because there's no way that they'll be able to get away with all the stuff that just happened with their name on it, and them being wrapped up in the investigations, them having their name be brought up in the whole Takeoff situation. Because at the end of the day, you got to open your eyes and look at the facts of what's really going on in that situation. They had hosted the party. They're the ones who were supposed to be like taking care of security to make sure none of the security did nothing wrong. And at the end of the day, you couldn't tell the difference between the dudes that's from the hood and the streets versus the security. You couldn't tell the difference. It was all the same people. And so they tried to say that, oh, was someone who came into the party late and never even went inside that did the whole thing. But we see the footage showed from the witnesses. They put it on their stories. They put it all over Facebook, and it shows everybody with J Prince Jr. walking out of the whole bowling alley, and Quavo was right there arguing with the other guy, and they was both running their mouth. They both wrong for that, because Takeoff deserved to still be here. If y'all rocking with Takeoff, I want y'all to put the rocket ship emoji in the comment section right now, and let me know where y'all from if you rocking with Takeoff. So J Prince Jr.'s homie, the security, and Quavo was both wrong in the situation, because they could have just squashed it, handed it like man, and went to J Prince to decide, hey, what's a respectful way with your wise words that we could settle our differences. But instead, the ratchetness came out of everybody. Quavo said some words, the other dude said some words. Next thing you know, all you hear is bop, 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 and then Takeoff hit the ground. And then that's when you see J Prince Jr. walking by, and he literally looked down on Takeoff, and he tried to grab his arm or try to put him up, and you just see the dreads hanging and his head bounced right back down. And that's when everybody left. Everybody fled the scene. So when everybody fled the scene and they hopped in the Escalades and them big trucks that everybody ride through in Texas, they hopped in the Cadillac, they finally caught the dude a few days later that did it. So when they caught the dude that did it, you don't think he was telling on J Prince Jr. and the whole family, talking about who they work for and was he doing security and what was going on? So once they got that guy, now that it's been a couple years and everything like that, they going back and basically dotting their I's and crossing their T's to make sure that they didn't miss nothing, because the Prince family, they was the one who had the whole party. They hired the guy and everything. It's a conflict of interest, so they looking into it, because at the end of the day, either the dude that's locked up for this is telling on them, or they have found new information that could basically get them in a jam. And so this is why they have to do their homework. They're going and making sure that they didn't miss